How's it going, everybody? My name is Todd Anderson, editor at the home theater forum, avnirvana.com. And just to give a little backstory to this review, back in 2022, the FDA opened access to a new category of devices that do not require a prescription or fitting by an audiologist. And the market has just exploded now with wearables aimed directly at people who have hearing deficits. Now, this review is looking at one of those products. It's a relatively new earbud-style dialogue enhancement device developed by Sennheiser called Conversation Cleer Plus. This was originally launched at CES 2023, where I was able to get some hands-on time with it, and I was impressed enough that I requested a review sample, and I've actually had this in my possession for quite a long time. And as you can see, it looks like a traditional earbud, and in many ways it behaves like a traditional earbud, which gives it a unique multifunction capability that makes its price point, which can be as low as $650 on the street, a little more palatable than its retail dollar amount. Using onboard Bluetooth 4.2, you can connect Conversation Cleer Plus to any Bluetooth device to enjoy music, media, and conveniences like making calls. And sound quality is quite good, landing well above average by my estimation. Now, what it lacks is any sort of EQ control within the app that's associated with the buds. But straight out of the box, I think these sound pretty good. They have a nice heavy weighted low end, and they sound decently good up through high frequencies. The buds also give you access to really good sounding phone calls, although I have to say that callers told me they could hear quite a bit of what was going on around me. So these are probably best used in more of a quiet place. Now, in terms of overall use time, you can expect to get about 9 hours of use out of each charge, and the case gives you an additional 27 hours of use, so you can definitely take them on the go. Sennheiser certainly doesn't market Conversation Cleer Plus as a traditional earbud. It's all about speech audibility and, on the flip side, silence. And it achieves this by stripping away ambient noise and enhancing voices around you. Let's take a look at the app and give you an idea of what you can expect. The first tab we see at the top is Relax, which is essentially an effective noise cancellation mode that can be attenuated over 10 steps. I tried out the cancellation capabilities in a variety of environments, including a noisy cafe and an airplane cabin, and it's quite effective at quieting exterior noise. I'd say it's just as effective as most of the better earbuds I've reviewed that carry active noise cancellation capabilities. Moving over in the app's controls, we land on the main feature of the buds, which is communication. And this is where you'll find another adjustment dial that increases or decreases the intensity of sound enhancement around you. The idea being that you lessen the ambient sound in the room, allowing you to better hear people that are talking to you. The Buds onboard chip, manufactured by Sonova, which makes hearing aid brands like Phonak, guides the entire experience. And this whole communication feature works really well in some environments and not so well in others. I generally use the communication mode with a setting between 11 and 13. Any higher in incoming sound was a tad bit oversaturated in mid to high frequencies, and it allowed ambient sound to be a bit more invasive. I found the same to be true of the Clarity Boost app feature, which tends to make the sound presentation more top-heavy without a pleasing presence of lower frequencies. But with the communication mode left in that 11 to 13 range, the buds perform really well in most environments like bars and noisy restaurants. It just has this effect that allows you to clearly hear people within a few feet of you. It's not necessarily directional either, as your head can be turned to the right and someone's voice, say, could be off to the left, and it's still totally audible. And while it doesn't isolate voices in a way that draws out a warm, throaty sound, it definitely pushes audibility to the forefront. Now, one side effect that you need to know about is that, as it's raising voices around you, it also elevates your own voice, which can be a little bit disorienting at first, but it's not a bad side effect considering the benefits that it gives you. Another side effect of the earbud-like design is that it creates a seal with your ear, and that allows you to hear yourself chewing food kind of inside your head. Now, if you want to experience what I'm talking about, put on any pair of earbuds and chew away. There's just no getting around the side effect. But again, Conversation Cleer Plus is still allowing you to hear voices in loud environments that would otherwise be extremely difficult to hear if not hear at all. And it also goes without saying that these are definitely visible when you're wearing them. So if you're looking for something that's discreet, these might not be a great option for you. Now, because of their black color and moderate size, it looks like you have a pair of earbuds on, and when you enter a new environment, you'll need to access the app to dial in your sound experience. Sennheiser has placed push-button controls on the face of each bud, so the app can technically be ditched, but those controls can be hard to remember in the beginning, though I did find they were easier to use the more I wore them. Comfort-wise, I found the Conversation Cleer Plus to be really comfortable to wear for long periods of time. I also didn't find them falling out of my ears, so from that fit perspective, you're right spot on. Now, back to performance. As I said, the buds worked great in most noisy environments. However, I did find one restaurant where we were seated near an open kitchen and the earbuds picked up and amplified clanking sounds from the dishwashing line. And I wasn't able to adjust away those sounds using the app controls and ended up taking them off. Another environment where they failed to perform was a loud stadium. I was hopeful they'd make it easier to hear friends talking during noisy moments of a game, but anytime a crowd roared to life, the buds had difficulty handling the incoming sound information, creating an audible whooshing sound, which reminded me of listening to a distant AM radio station with a weak signal where the sound appears to come in waves. The result was unpleasant enough that I wouldn't recommend buying them for stadium use. And lastly, you can see there's a streaming function in the app. That allows you to manage the sound quality of playback where you introduce more or less ambient sound. It works fine, giving you the ability to enjoy tunes while also holding conversations with folks around you. So where does all this information lead us? Well, the Conversation Cleer Plus landing at $850 retail is far less expensive than the most expensive hearing aids out there on the market. And if you're someone that just needs a little bump in the direction of being able to hear people speaking around you, they'll serve you well. It's actually quite amazing how they bring voices in your immediate vicinity to the forefront while stripping everything else away. Unfortunately, there are situations where the bud's intelligent chip is just overwhelmed or confused by ambient noise, most notably, as I just mentioned, loud stadium environments. So if you buy a pair, you'll ultimately need to pick and choose when and where you use them to get the most effect. And as a nice little side benefit, when you're not using them to enhance conversation around you, you can still use them for active noise cancellation or to listen to music or make phone calls, and that's something that you really can't do with a standard hearing aid. All right, folks, that's all I have for you right now. If you'd like to track me down, you can find me over at the home theater forum, abnirvana.com. You can also ask me questions right here below this video down in the discussion. I'll make sure to pop in and answer questions. We'll see you around.